Voila, we're streaming now. We've got our layout set up. And I'm going to... It says live stream is going. We'll see if I can find a link for the live stream. Where on earth is the link to my shit? We're not playing PUBG now, we're playing Silverworld. Silverworld Chapter 1. Is this one world? Yeah, one word. Silverworld. And, reading books. Alright. Now, I got a server URL, but I need the link for the stream to send to you, so you can check audio levels for me real quick. If I can find it. Have you ever watched any of the things that I stream?
Not really, but give me a link and I'll load it up.
I'm looking for the link. Well, oh, there it is. It's in the bottom right. Okay, copy and paste it here. Try that. Try that link there, and then please check the audio for me. Anyways, I guess I'll do this first page of the book here. This is Silverworld by Kyle Marquez. I'll do all this here.
Silverworld by Kyle Marquez. Show stats, restart achievements menu. The past was never supposed to be like this. A poor provincial soldier, you receive an incredible opportunity, the chance to see the divine host assembling the world at the dawn of time. Dr. Sabatine, Gnostic visionary, inventor, claims she can step into the past. And she needs someone to stand guard. But the Doctor's gate doesn't open onto the first courtyard of creation, and you find yourself trapped in a savage wilderness like nothing you've ever seen, or could even imagine. Where or when is this place? Forced to work together with imperialists and zealots from your own time, suspicious local tribespeople, and a robot who claims to speak for Dr. Sabatine, you must find some way to survive and escape. But Silverworld threatens more than physical harm. Its existence is an abomination to some, a mystery to others, and its teeming wealth is an opportunity many can't resist. Explorer, plunderer, peacemaker, warbringer, your choices will determine the fate of Silverworld, and of your own world. Play Silverworld.
So, testing? Wait, what's wrong with my mic? Is my mic not working now? Did you mute me? Dustin. Oh dear. Am I still putting out audio? Good. Why'd you mute me? You muted the...
Yeah, I muted you because I think in the video you can hear duplicate. I was trying to see if it was Discord or not.
Can you? Can you hear duplicate? You might be hearing duplicate because you have the video open, right?
Yeah, I have the video open and Discord closed on my computer. So Discord's only playing through
because you have the video.
My phone.
So you're hearing the words from the book echoing? What are you hearing?
Yeah, I can hear it in your video.
The echo?
Yes.
Oh, well, how do we fix that? Hmm. Um. Maybe if I mute my mic on on the stream, it won't do that. Maybe I'm getting the echo from my headset and my mic. So I'm going to try that now real quick.
Silverworld by Carl Marquez. Show stats restart achievements menu. The past was never supposed to be like this. A poor provincial soldier, you receive an incredible opportunity, the chance to see the divine host assembling the world at the dawn of time. Dr. Sabatine, Gnostic visionary, inventor, claims she can step into the past. And she needs someone to stand guard. But the Doctor's gate doesn't open onto the first courtyard of creation, and you find yourself trapped in a savage wilderness like nothing you've ever seen or could even imagine. Where or when is this place? Forced to work together with imperialists and zealots from your own time, suspicious local tribespeople, and a robot who claims to speak for Dr. Sabatine, you must find some way to survive and escape. But Silverworld threatens more than physical harm. Its existence is an abomination to some, a mystery to others, and its teeming wealth is an opportunity many can't resist. Explorer, plunderer, peacemaker, warbringer, your choices will determine the fate of Silverworld and of your own world. Play Silverworld.
Okay, I'm not so sure if I'm liking this automatic speech business.
You don't like it?
It's kind of weird.
What's weird about it?
It's just very robot-y.
Well, yeah, but it's better than... I don't want to read it aloud myself. It's too much work.
Why not?
It's too much work. And you ultimately sound stupid when you start to stutter over words and stuff. And then when you have the robot, you keep up you maintain a cadence that you know, it's just faster than the laborious fashion of reading it. But I don't know. Did the sound good now?
Yeah, sounds okay.
So like, what do you think of the intro so far? It sounds like it's some sort of alternate universe.
Yeah, it's alright.
When like you're traveling through portals and some sort of weird machine. I don't know what's going on exactly. It seemed kind of confusing. But here's the next page. I'm gonna have to mute my mic now.
Chapter 1, to Byzantium. It is summer and the whole world seems made of brass, the wooden ship, the golden sea touched by the setting sun, and on the far horizon, the towers lining the shore. You have traveled across land and water, faced hunger, piracy, and betrayal, and now, on this small, creaking ship, your journey to Byzantium is nearly at an end. You have already said farewell to your companions, and now find yourself among unfamiliar faces, the soldiers, scholars, and merchants who, like you, have answered the call of Dr. Sabatine. You realize you're squeezing the doctor's letter tight in your ungloved hand. A young man, a merchant, you guess, notices what you're holding. Smiling, he holds up his own version before tucking the paper back into his waistcoat. A soldier, him, he says. He sizes you up and tries to peer under your broad hat. And not a local, it appears. Where are you from? He regards you for another second, then says, you speak Koine, right? Cathay. I took the Silk Road west across Mongolia. I sailed past London, then reached the Mediterranean via the Atlantic. Francia. I took a riverboat nearly the whole length of the Danube. Mali. I crossed the Sahara by rail from Timbuktu and took ship from Egypt. Mexico. I braved the long Atlantic crossing. India. I sailed seas and gulfs before entering the Mediterranean at Port Said. Persia. It was a dangerous overland journey through the desert. Zipangu. I left my island home to cross the Pacific and Indian Oceans.
So where do you want to be from? Is the first choice we have here. The closest place to where we live looks like it's Mexico. But they spell Mexico in a different way, like it's some sort of different place altogether right now.
Okay.
I don't know where London. I sailed past London, then reached Mediterranean. Where is Erie? It sounds like Scotland or something. You don't really. I guess it doesn't really matter. We'll just be from Mexico. All right.
The merchant looks alarmed. After a moment he says, "Well, I suppose it's good that you don't use obsidian knives on your captives anymore, but I still find the Triple Alliance, well, a bit decadent, no matter how well made your clocks are." He keeps his hand away from the pocket watch on his waistcoat, which looks to be of Aztec design. "We are not decadent but educated, merchant. That's what lets us maintain our machines. It's the same in Byzantium. It's the same everywhere. The Triple Alliance values education and art. Even I, a simple hunter, understand the value of history. We're scientists and scholars. I myself am something of an engineer, and something of a photographer, too, actually. I'm from a farming village, actually. I suspect we're far less decadent than the average Byzantine merchant, though well equipped to spot their lies."
So right here we get to pick our, I guess our past or
Background.
yeah, our background, yeah. So we can be educated merchants. Did you hear the options? I can be a hunter.
Yeah, I'm watching it. I'm listening.
So which one do you want to go with? You choose. Something of an engineer, photographer. Farming village, I expect we're far less decadent than the average Byzantine merchant, though well equipped to spot their lies.
That sounds like bullshit. I think of history. I don't know, either a merchant or a scholar, I guess.
Alright, let's just go with the first one then.
Ha ha, yes, well, maybe I prefer the way Byzantium distances the cause from the effect. Is that not the mark of civilization? To separate the squealing swine from the breakfast ham, as it were. The merchant laughs a little at his own morbid wit. As if realizing his opinions of Mexico might have annoyed you, the merchant says, "Oh, forgive me, I myself am Alexius III Heliopolitan, of Byzantium by way of, well, nowhere that matters." Alexius is getting ready to say more when a ship of the Byzantine merchant fleet emerges from the mist. A colossal steamer with 4 funnels and a golden icon covering most of its bow, it seems to glide through the mist that hovers over the Bosphorus. Your captain steers his little single-masted ship out of the way as the huge steamer picks up speed. "Less than an hour until we reach Prosphorian harbor," Alexius says. He keeps smiling, but his eyes betray his nervousness. "So," he says, his gloved hands tight on the rail, "are you excited to work for Dr. Sabatine?" "I'm excited to meet one of Byzantium's greatest scholars and see what she can teach me about how to construct weapons of war. I may start as a simple guard, but I won't stay there. I plan to keep my wits about me and take what advantages I see in Byzantium. There are many opportunities for a guard who is brave and knows how to survive in the wildlands drive Sabatine explored in her youth. I'm hoping Sabatine may take me on as a field researcher. I'm well educated and I have a knack for convincing people of my value."
So sometimes it says drive instead of doctor. I'm gonna let Rio in. You look over those options. Let me know which one you like. Alright, sorry about that. Alright, so, I'm excited to meet one of the Byzantine. Which one do you want to do?
The first one, I think.
Okay.
You know you've just been hired as a guard, right? Alexius says. Though I suppose drive. Sabatine might need guards who can do more than sharpen their knives and growl at street urchins. I'm sure she picked you for a reason. The golden mist surrounding Byzantium starts to fade. Your little ship leaves the Bosphorus and crosses beneath the first of a dozen colossal bridges that span the Golden Horn, and there it is, Byzantium, shining in the sunset. You've seen postcards and photographs, but those don't capture the sheer size of the city, how it has spilled out of its ancient and medieval confines to sprawl across the land, or how smoke and steam hide 3/4 of it at a time. Smells and sounds arrive, the acrid reek of burning coal, the clanking of enormous machinery, the aroma of 1,000 spices hauled in from every corner of the empire, and the clattering of bells as 1,000,000 merchants trade with 1,000,000 more. Other travelers bearing letters from Dr. Sabatine crowd the ship's bow, all of them trying to see the city. You jostle against a soldier who apologizes as you're both pressed against the railing. I'm Cyril, the soldier shouts over the crash of waves. The wind whips his long auburn hair around his face. A Byzantine from his clothing, his accent indicates birth in the countryside. You're here to guard the doctor, 2A. Then he takes in your unusual appearance, your torn and travel-stained garments and broad-brimmed hat. You're from the Triple Alliance, right? Cyril says. There's a Mexican clock in my house, you know. But blast, you're a far way from home. How did you make it across the Atlantic, especially near Europe? There are so many pirates. I'm not that strong, but I was nimble enough to work the rigging, and when the pirates came, I was the one to warn the crew. I don't have the keen eyes of a watchman, but neither did our watchman. When he failed and the pirates boarded us, I proved my strength and ferocity to both crews. At first, the crew thought I was a fool because I was so bad at dice and card tricks, but when the pirates struck, I helped row us to safety, then handled the rigging. I spent most of my time on watch. With my keen eyes, I spotted the pirates in time, almost fell to my death off the rigging, and landed in the midst of them. Then I fought my way out.
So we have a couple of good options. Were you having an issue with sound?
No issue with sound. You're just fucking clicking all over the place.
Oh, I was, just trying to read along and keep my place in the book. Like being an active reader, I guess. Maybe it's bad. But it looks like we get some options of like physical attributes that we have. So we have good sight, and we can be good at fighting is the last option. We can be really strong or something was another one I remember.
I like that last one. It sounds like he's like
sounds
courageous and like.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to be optimal.
Oh yeah, I don't know if this sets a physical attribute for me or not. But whatever. I'll just take it. Alright. Controls.
Ha ha, wonderful. Cyril laughs, clapping you on the back. It was not at the time wonderful, but you still got drinks off that story all the way until you boarded the ship you're on now. Byzantium sprawls around you as the ship glides to a stop at the docks. Your fellow travelers scramble onto dry land, carrying you with them almost before you can grab your meager supplies. The setting sun turns the domes and bridges of Byzantium purple. Long shadows blur the outlines of the teeming masses that swarm along the docks. You pass soldiers and sailors, odalisks and antiquarians, shops that sell watches, candies, tobacco, books, photography equipment, postcards, stationery, gloves, sheet music. Even here, most people are Byzantines, wealthy businessmen in their colorless suits and tall hats, barefoot, dock hands with their shirt sleeves rolled up, shopkeepers poorly aping the fashions of the imperial elite. But you also see Italians and Egyptians, Hebrews and Haudenosaunee, even a few Mexica. You follow your crowd toward the gate of Eugenio's. With the old walls torn down 50 years ago, the gate is nothing but a checkpoint overrun with gold-jacketed guards, with a tube station stop on the far side. You hand your passport and the doctor's letter over to a bureaucrat, whose assessment of you instantly changes when he sees the name Dr. Sabatine. Your passport stamped and processed, you find yourself on the far side of the gate, apparently free and clear, when an imperial interrogator limps in front of you. The interrogator, a short, middle-aged Italian from one of Byzantium's most impoverished regions, looks you up and down, sniffs, and says, "Another Mexicatl. What are all you coming here for? This is Byzantium, not mustering ground for mercenaries." Alexius and Cyril, emerging through the gate behind you, stop as they spot the man, as if unsure how much trouble he can make for you. I know where this man served and exactly how humiliating it would be to be reminded of that. I remind him of that until he leaves. Over the years, I've learned how to just keep walking. If you're fast and confident enough, for some reason, it always works. I know how to deal with men like this. I just shove past him and keep walking, daring anyone to stop me. I actually recognize the exact metal prosthetic this man wears and ask him where he served. As a fellow soldier, I know he'd rather talk than harass us. Next.
Okay, got some options here for getting around customs, it looks like. I forgot to mute my mic there on Steam there, so it might have had some echo. Anyways, what do you want to go with? You there? Oh, you're muted, your mic. I see now. Okay, well, in that case...
Oh, what do you want to do?
I don't know. I like the last option.
I like the last one too.
Okay. And also, have you noticed like the time zone seems like something out of the 60s with all the photography? Like,
yeah.
We don't have digital, so it's like less tech than we have. Get this going here.
You recognize the limp of a Byzantine first-generation prosthetic wearer. At first, you're not sure the little man wants to talk about his time served, but he looks you up and down and, recognizing another who's seen some dark times, he slowly nods. "I was in the Carib Islands," he says quietly. Cyril takes a step back, as if the man is sacred or cursed. "They fixed me up, though, after what you folks did to us." He looked you up and down. "Don't know who did worse by me. You three can go ahead. Welcome to Byzantium. The Carib campaigns," Cyril says when you're past, his voice hushed. "It's good to let the martial races have the dreams of glory," Alexius admits, not really talking to either of you. "Though we mustn't let it go to their heads." The crowd presses you from behind, forcing you deeper into the processing centers where the old walls of Byzantium once stood. "Customs always makes me crave a steak," Alexius says. "I mean, I feel so much like a cow in its last moments." "They're at the Gate of Hercules," Cyril says. Merchants, soldiers, and scholars push past you toward the gate, eager to reach the destination. Two major gates divide the rough-and-tumble docks from the city itself: the Gate of Hercules, through which men pass, and the Gate of Hestia, for women. The gates are the same size, and for every woman who visits Byzantium, 5 men do. The resulting bottleneck below the colossal statue of Hercules is a sight to behold. I guess I have to wait behind Alexius, Cyril, and the other guards and sailors at the Gate of Hercules. Sometimes it's good to be a woman in a man's world. I head to the much less busy Gate of Hestia. Neither of these is right. I need to track down the Gate of Hermes Aphrodite.
You want to be a chick or a dude, or like
Gender neutral. That's weird.
gender neutral?
I'd rather just be a dude. Also, isn't this like a little bit, I don't know, like the guy that was our enemy in war and had his leg blowed off is like letting us pass into some sort of cattle separation center. Sounds like scary. I don't know. But yeah, let's just follow the normal male path.
What's up? Do you always want to be a male? Why don't you be a chick? Experience the other side of things.
I don't know. I can replay the game and play as a chick. Replayability. I don't think I want to read the book twice, though, but
I don't think you're gonna play it again either.
I don't know. Let's see how long it is. Right.
It takes so long that food carts appear halfway through your wait. At least you have a chance to eat as you shuffle forward inch by inch until you're at last beneath the marble loincloth of the son of Zeus. Bored-looking guards in the golden uniforms lounge about, handling the paperwork. Everything is still done by hand here. You see no clacking mechanical eddying machines, no pneumatic tubes. The guards check that your passport is stamped, then one says, "You Mexicatl," in insultingly slow Kone. What's your first name? Your personal name, he probably means. The form helpfully contains the Byzantine interpretations of some common Mexican names. You can read Sipak, Misatl, and Tecolotta, among others. There is also a space to write your name. Don't mess this up, Alexius whispers. A Turkman I know is named Come Again. In all the official records. Sipak, Misatl, Tecolotta. I write my name in the space provided.
So, do you want to write I want to just give our character a name. But
Okay.
I've noticed, like, so because we're from Mexicatl, it's like
It's like Aztec, man.
yeah, it's like they never got invaded by the Europeans in a way, you know what I mean? Like I don't know, like Columbus never happened.
Dude, immerse yourself in the game. Don't
Well,
worry about.
I'm figuring out the like the setting, right? Like the culture. Let's give a name though. How about Gardus? How's that? Do you want to be Duskar?
No. Why don't you just? So all of these have like an L at the end with a T.
Oh. Well, let's just do Mexicatl then. Wait, no, wait, that's where we're from. We can't do that. How about Texicatl? How's that?
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Right, the guard calls out, Texicotl Tenochtes. Another guard records the information and amends your passport. Before you can offer advice or consultation on your new name, you're ushered through the Gate of Hercules and into the heart of Byzantium. You spill out of the Gate of Hercules alongside Alexius, Cyril, and a dozen more people holding letters from Dr. Sabatine. Away from the docks with their mercantile bustle and new construction, you find yourself among the wide boulevards of Old Byzantium, avenues constructed 40 years ago as the real Old Byzantium's ancient structures fell hopelessly into ruin. The streets are broad, the marble buildings tall and beautiful in the twilight, the gold of the domes and gables illuminated by gaslight. Pedestrians swarm all around you, dodging horse-drawn cabriolets to reach the new underground tube stations. Almost everyone on the street is a man, despite the decree the Empress handed down over 10 years ago. Your group has to walk against traffic, heading uphill, until finally you can see the laboratory of Dr. Sabatine through the smoke and the glare. Contemptuous of Byzantium's love affair with its own past, the doctor has permitted only a single dome as a concession to the local style. But the dome is silver white, not golden, and the walls and columns lack iconography and ornamentation. Plain, functional, and starkly beautiful, the laboratory represents a very different vision of Byzantium than the self-serving mythology invented by the Empress and her government. Well, Alexius cries, "Let's go." The crowd cheers and starts to hike up the low, sloping hill toward the laboratory. You shoot one last glance at Alexius before the fog swallows him up. He's smiling, but he regards the laboratory with trepidation. What does he know? You look down at the letter in your hands, tattered now after such a long journey, and wonder what you're getting yourself into. To the
Where's all this
attention
stuff
of one
coming from?
Texacotl of
Where's all this stuff coming from?
Which
It's
stuff?
not displayed on the left side. So like go further down on the right side.
Oh, so I'm on separate pages, right? So
How did
if
you do
there's
that?
no decision, I just hit next, and I'm trying to keep up with the
Okay.
story. Actually, I missed a section here. Oh, boom. So.
To the attention of one Texacotl of Mexico. My name is Dr. Sabatine of Byzantium. I have need of you and can pay handsomely. Enclosed, please find funds and paperwork necessary for your journey, and an advance upon your first paycheck. My decision to seek your employment is complex but not arbitrary. You are, of course, brave and fearless, but more important, you understand machines, large and small, better than most engineers of Byzantium, who are always heaping praises on their own technological accomplishments and scorn upon foreign inventiveness. To this end, and due to your own circumstances, which I know are desperate through no fault of your own, I hope that you will reply to this letter and begin the long journey to Byzantium, that you may guard my greatest, and perhaps last, experiment from those who would see such work destroyed. Sincerely, Dr. Euphrasia I Sabatine of Byzantium. You have read the letter 100 times on your journey from Mexico, and tonight it offers no more answers than on any other night. Why does Drive Sabatine need you, in particular? And for what? Hey, Texacotl! Cyril shouts, waving at you from farther up the road. Let's go meet the good doctor. You don't want to be late.
Okay. So we do have a couple of characters with us. We have Cyril and what, Alexis or some shit. And that's the first chapter. Do you wanna keep going? Do you wanna finish chapter 2?
Click on show stats.
Sure. Let's check that out. All right. Whoa. So we have a lot of stats here. Looks like we got our name. Homeland, background of mechanic. I don't remember how we chose that background. Or I didn't notice. I don't know. Whatever. Abilities. Looks like we're educated. We're good with technology and perception and valor. We have high valor and high technology. Jeez, those are our highest stats. And then we're uninjured. And then there's we can view our relationship statuses. So that'll help us keep track of all these characters. So right now it's Alexius, Cyril. Those are our two friends for some reason. I mean, we got a little bit of background in the intro, but I would have to actually review them. Then there's the journalists. I don't know who they are. The scientists and the soldiers. I remember bumping into soldiers, but I don't remember the journalists and the scientists. But yeah, okay. Well, that worked. I'm actually kind of happy that it just worked. That we were able to make that work. Do you want to continue?
Okay, we can do one more chapter.
Chapter 2, Outfitting the Expedition. The Laboratory of Dr. Sabatine is as colossally melodramatic as you had expected. Inside, it resembles a dirigible hangar, its walls lined with electric and pneumatic machinery, its circumference ringed by a metallic walkway. Near the entrance, a lone young woman in a red jacket checks credentials and directs the teeming multitudes. You count 15 soldiers, 20 or more scientists, and a half-dozen people like Alexius, merchants, diplomats, and functionaries. A velvet rope holds back over 30 journalists who keep shouting questions at anyone who gets close enough. As the night deepens, you wait for the gaslights. Instead, the room floods suddenly with the eye-stinging radiance of electric light bulbs. The journalists fall silent, writing in their notebooks about this marvel. The eye-searing radiance illuminates some kind of raised platform at the far end of the chamber. Maybe 20 feet in diameter, its floor resembles a huge reflective mirror. Amid the brass consoles, switches, and wheels, you see what appears to be a brass nameplate, the specular. The soldiers all appear to be men, but you spot a few women among the journalists and curiosity seekers. Several female researchers circulate along the walkway, though those holding letters from the doctor form a bickering knot of men young and old that seems unwilling to admit outsiders. Everyone keeps glancing at the huge central clock as if they know when the doctor will appear. You don't, but you seem to have a few minutes before the big moment. I'll spend some time talking with the researchers. I'm both a mechanic and a naturalist, after all. I want to see what their journalists are doing. I'm likable and perceptive enough that I can fit in with them. I feel more comfortable talking to the soldiers. I'm tough and brave enough to be one of them, even if I've never formally served. Let's see what the merchants and diplomats are talking about around the billiards table. I'm cultured and clever enough to blend in. Next.
So suggestion, I think that you should leave the options out. Like
Out of the text?
Yeah, and then be like, these are our options, and then let it read it. Or something. Because right now it's just going straight into that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like that'd be kind of confusing if somebody's watching this.
Well, we're talking about it though, so we stop and we choose our options here now. I mean, basically what we're just doing is we're choosing stats, I think, that we're going to be leaning towards. So, do you want to be perceptive? Do you want to play some pool and be cultured with the merchants? Do you want to increase our bravery? Our bravery is already kind of high. And then we can increase our mechanical skill, which also is still high, and then our naturalist skill. I don't know. I kind of want to do the merchants, but I mean, I'm down if you want to do anything different.
The bottom one?
Yeah. Talking about around the billiard table. I'm cultured and clever. I mean, it just sounds like a better dialogue option. I don't know.
Okay.
Alexius waves you over and introduces you to a small circle of what he calls the odds and ends, 2 merchants, a translator, the wife of a Kahukian diplomat, a Ukrainian statistician, and a Korean shamanist turned novelist. We are clearly the smartest people here, Alexius says, eyeing the researchers with cheerful disdain, but even we cannot figure out what the good doctor might need with us. You spend the next few minutes listening to various hypotheses as Alexius cleans up at the billiards table, but no one has any answers. It soon becomes obvious that not only does no one know why they're here, no one even knows what drive Sabatine has planned. Then most of the lights unexpectedly go out, replaced by a single antique spotlight. Cyril swears as he almost drops his glass of champagne, and the ripple of laughter somewhat spoils the arrival of Dr. Sabatine, who strides out onto the encircling balcony. Next. Elderly, white-haired, with a monocle and pocket watch that shine in the limelight, drive. Sabatine wears a long golden mantle that makes her look more like a historical dowager than a modern scientist. Other, younger scientists, including a few women, stand in the great doctor's shadow, perhaps a carefully orchestrated metaphor. The woman in the red jacket who registered everyone also waits behind Sabatine. Off to one side, you notice a tall, bearded man dressed in a dark, sober suit. As Dr. Sabatine resembles an ancient potentate, this man resembles a modern diplomat, but you know he is not. He is Stralkus Petron, theologian, philosopher, visionary mystic, or deadly fanatic, depending on who you ask. Everyone in Byzantium has an opinion about him, but you cannot tell truth from fiction well enough to appraise the man honestly. Stralkus peers into the darkness with eyes unaffected by the limelight and spots you. He holds your gaze for a moment before turning to regard the doctor. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Sabatine says, without preamble or even waiting for everyone to look her way, I have invented a device that permits us to travel through time. The reaction from the scientists, soldiers, and assembled mercantile interests is stunned disbelief. Is this a joke? A metaphor for some more subtle process? Then the journalists remember their jobs and start shouting questions from behind their velvet robe. Permit me to explain, the doctor says, her soft voice enhanced by an amplifier attached to the balcony railing. She waits for silence. In seconds, there are only the sounds of machines. As we have learned through geological and astronomical analysis, our world dates back roughly 11,000 years, to its formation by the so-called icons. The theologian Stralkus seems ready to dispute the words so-called bedrive. Sabatine keeps talking. The work of the icons has left distinct traces throughout history. You are no doubt familiar with the discovery of X-rays reported by Dr. Catin of Alexandria. The work of the icons has left similar emanations I have learned to detect and to follow. There's simple light throat clearing from the scientists. The lights flicker back on, revealing a middle-aged man with dark skin and an old, stained suit. Ah yes, Dr. Sabatine says, Dr. Catin the Younger. I called you here to organize the scientific branch of my expedition because your father's research does not imply anything about the icons. The younger drive. Catin says, breezily speaking over his elder, let alone. He scoffs. Time travel. In fact, I have seen it. A deep, hollow voice, like a funeral bell. Stralkus. I have seen the beginning. Nearby, Alexius raises an eloquent eyebrow as if inviting your opinion of all this.
Okay, now we have some options.
Stralkus is a superstitious zealot, but a true believer nonetheless, whose fiery oratory reminds me of my own. The doctor and the mystic are both educated and civilized people, like me. If they're going to lie, they'd do it better. I've kept my eyes open my whole life and I've never seen anything like what Stralkus is talking about. He's a fraud or a madman. Stralkus is an obvious liar. I myself am a subtle and talented liar, and I hate watching an amateur. Stralkus is brave to speak his convictions so openly. I have some courage myself, and I know what it can cost someone, so I respect him in a way.
Okay, so it's just like, how do we receive this information? But if someone says they've time traveled, right, that's pretty dangerous. So, like, that madman or fraud option's a good one, but sounds kind of dangerous. I don't know.
I feel like the doctor and the mystic are both educated and civilized people like me. If they're gonna lie, they do it better. The second one. Or the third one. I mean, I'd freak out. I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about, sir?
Oh, what do you mean? Because time, you'd freak out?
Yeah. Dude, we're in a world, like, you gotta immerse yourself in this world. We're in a place without, you know, electricity and, like, I guess gadgets and whatnot, like you were saying.
Yeah, imagine it's going to change quite a bit as soon as we start messing with history. A whole bunch of technology is going to be different.
The stark conviction in the mystic's words makes even drive Catton hesitate. Speaking so quickly you cannot share your thoughts with Alexius. Drive. Sabatine says, Stralkus and I, with a small group, previously took the specular back to the beginning, if only for a moment. She gestures to the mirrored steel circular viewing platform. We, took photographs. The lights dim again and a magic lantern projects an image against one wall, a flat, featureless plain marked only by a single tree, and in the moonless night sky, things. Abstract geometric shapes surrounded by halo-like motion blurs. Such images could easily be faked. But what would be the point? Who would be fool enough to invite the world's leading scientists and then deceive them with photographic tricks? The magic lantern cycles from one photograph to the next. Most suffer from extensive motion blur or bad composition, but the polyhedral shapes recur again and again. I intend a second journey, the doctor says. Immediately. Doctor. Sabatine checks her pocket watch, permitting a few minutes of frantic negotiation and argument. It's real, Cyril whispers to you. It's the beginning of the world. Correct. That calm and polished voice comes from the woman in the red jacket, to whom you have still not been properly introduced. Wasn't she just on stage? Alexius, standing beside Cyril and examining the photographs on the wall, shakes his head. Smoke and mirrors. Literally, I think. Anyone can fake a photo. And now I'm worried she's going to dose us all on opiates, stick us on that specular thing, and make us hallucinate. But we have to find out, don't we? Cyril asks. People need to know.
And then we have these options.
I know my way around machinery and I have a keen eye. Maybe I could help take pictures. I just want to see the icons and believe. Then I can tell people what I saw with eloquence and courage like Stralkus has. I'm just here to carry things through the woods. I'm still not sure what the doctor is planning.
Okay, so... Oh, also, I noticed, like, the lantern was magical. The magic lantern cycles from one... So it's like a... Yeah, it's like that 1950s, 1960s tech, and they got a little, like, clicker projector. But it's not like a normal invented thing in the world.
Mm-hmm. But that last answer is pretty neutral.
Yeah. What's the second one? Like just following, just jumping into it?
I don't know, read it again.
I just want to see the icons and believe. Then I can tell people what I saw with eloquence and courage, like Stralkus has. So like just being observant, or you can like I don't know if I believe this or not, but it's a, fantasy book, so I imagine it's all true.
Okay.
I don't know. Which one are we choosing?
So the last one, but
Okay.
It's good to know someone is here to work hard. Cyril says brightly. Alexius can only shrug. Maybe no one knows what the doctor is planning, he says. Unless. He looks at the young woman in the red jacket, but she says nothing and her expression offers nothing. My offer is simple, Doctor. Sabatine says over the hubbub. Those assembled here step onto the specular watch for about 5 minutes, and then we get to work understanding what my device can do for Byzantium. Are we agreed? I have one question, says one of the journalists as the others frantically and unconditionally agree. Why do you have a small army? Are you expecting to pass through the last Malian war on your way to the dawn of time?
Loud.
A ripple of laughter spreads through the crowd. That's Zonda Metakites, Alexius tells you, unnecessarily. Even you know Mito is one of the most famous journalists.
The volume got super loud.
Which volume's too loud?
The robot talking. Like I guess you switch something off and it got super loud.
Okay, I'm lowering the volume. Although now it's just gonna be jacked for the entire video.
I don't know. Whatever you just changed.
I turned the volume down actually.
Oh, that's weird because it got really loud.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it's redlining, and then I turned it down a little bit, and then I guess I don't know. Maybe I just optimized it, and then it just got louder.
Everyone needs to see the mystic Stralkas tells Mito, emphasizing the word need. Dr. Sabatine nods and says, they need to know what they'll be guarding from people who might object to my latest discovery, and they need to know how important it is. Sabatine nods and says, they need to know what they'll be guarding from people who might object to my latest discovery, and they need to know how important it is. The doctor seems tired of ceremony and limelight. She turns to Stralkas, who begins the mundane task of getting everyone onto the specula. The woman in the red jacket helps him. Wait, no, she's standing between you and Alexius. But how? Except, actually, she appears to be helping the researchers move some equipment. In fact, there appear to be quite a few of these young women. Over a dozen. Alexius and Cyril turn to regard the red-jacketed woman nearest him. Does drive Sabatine just grab pretty brunettes from all over the empire and give them the same haircut? Alexius asks. It takes the woman a moment to realize she is being addressed. Of course not, the woman says. Dr. Sabatine constructed me to maintain and pilot the specula. Cyril, violating all norms of civilized behavior, pokes the woman in the cheek. She does not respond. She's a golem, the soldier reports. More and more people are starting to notice the women. An antiquated term, the woman says. I am a robot. I am control. Are your, sisters robots too? Cyril asks. I am control, the woman says, and walks away to join her duplicates, or her other appendages. In preparing the specula, you, Alexius, and Cyril look at one another. Obviously the others are as unfamiliar as you with control. Just as the merchant opens his mouth, you feel a presence behind you. What Stralkas says, staring down at you, is this. The women, the controllers, have herded most of the soldiers toward one side of the huge room, all except you and Cyril. Stralkas seems uninterested in Cyril, but he looks you up and down with an expression of cold contempt. We're about to open the armory, he says, addressing the nearest controller, though his eyes are on you. So why is some watchmaker from the Triple Alliance allowed among the soldiers of Byzantium? Dr. Sabatine stops her preparations and glances toward the dispute.
Okay, so now we have some options.
My technical and cultural education is as extensive as yours, and I am here to serve Byzantium. While you're having some kind of religious episode, I'm going to keep my eyes open and help people stay on task. I'm a skilled hunter and a good shot. If you don't like it, ask Dr. Sabatine why she called me all the way here from Mexico. You're going to need a barbarian to rip things in half if things go wrong.
Okay. So which one do you want to go with? Are we a skilled hunter or are we a barbarian?
I want to be a skilled hunter.
Okay, that sounds like a... I'm a skilled hunter and a good shot.
Oh, you should ask her why you're here, too, Alexius says, emboldened by your words despite the mystic's furious stare. Stralkas takes a moment to master his temper, then stalks furiously away. Alexius breathes out a sigh of relief and gives you a little smile. Texicotl. A gruff voice calls. Texicotl Tenochtes. There you are, boy. Get with the others. Captain Carmatirus, the small company's commanding officer, seems alarmed by Dr. Sabatin's desire for immediate use of the specular. A tall man dressed in immaculate gold and grey regimentals, Captain Carmatirus does not look like the sort of man who enjoys surprises. As if not sure you speak Kone, the captain points angrily from you to the weapons locker. Firearms haven't been permitted on the streets of the city since that deranged English Queen, Victoria, and her husband tried to assassinate the Empress of Byzantium and her heir, Prince Zeno. Nonetheless, Sabatine keeps an impressive armory.
And our options are?
Not just a weapon, but a rallying point, ideal for anyone with the charisma and courage to raise one high. I'd take a scoped hunting rifle. My sharp eyes will let me use this weapon to bring down wild animals hundreds of yards away. I'd take a pocket pistol, favorite weapon of the elegant and refined gentleman assassin who prefers his work sneaky and quick.
So we're picking a weapon. I imagine a scoped rifle would be the best. My sharp eyes let me use this weapon to bring down wild animals hundreds of yards away. I don't know, what do you want to pick? Or we could be a gentleman assassin.
Yeah, you want to be an assassin? I don't know. We could be an expert marksman. I don't care.
I don't know. Let's try assassin real quick.
What on earth are you doing? Captain Carmatirus snaps. Don't just grab it now. We're only going to be on the specular for a few minutes. Tell one of the girls what you want and she'll write it down. We'll arm ourselves when we get back. Let's not waste any more time, Dr. Sabatine says before the captain can berate you further. There's less of it than you think. A controller writes down your weapon preference and then leaves to load a few crates onto the specular as her sisters get everyone positioned. Soon the specular's circular viewing platform contains almost 50 people, including scientists, journalists, and guards like yourself. The atmosphere is festive, the people curious but skeptical. You too would be skeptical if not for the weird ease with which the doctor's soldiers, including yourself, conduct themselves, despite not knowing one another. Even a neophyte like you has made only one mistake trying to procure that pistol. You find yourself between Cyril and Captain Carmatirus, beneath the chronometer of the specular. It reads, and is intended to go backward.
Whoa.
A switch adjusts the chronometer's precision down to the second. Remember, Dr. Sabatine says as the controllers work with the efficiency of a naval crew, this journey will be as brief as possible. Then the real difficulty will begin. She and Stralkus share a look. You're not coming with us this time, Stralkus says. You can tell he's suspicious of Dr. Sabatine, and you're not sure exactly what the personal or professional relationship is. Byzantine politics, well, the Byzantine. Not with so many, the doctor says. A controller fastens a pair of brass goggles over her eyes. Control will join you to manage the return trip. Journalists, now would be a good time to check your cameras. You will have, she checks a brass clock sticking out of the wall. 4 minutes and 18 seconds at the dawn of time. Both journalists and scientists ready their investigative apparatuses. The controllers file into the specular, working huge knobs along its perimeter. Please don't stick your hands outside the perimeter, Dr. Sabatine says, throwing a knife switch. The reason why will be obvious in AM. The doctor's voice fades as a kind of silver ripple spreads out across the specula. The controllers throw switches, the coordination perfect. Then you have a sensation of falling back into an unimaginable abyss.
Okay, there's the first 2 chapters.
All right.
You want to stop the video and continue later?
Yes.
Alrighty then. That was interesting. The controllers don't sound so bad now. I thought the controllers are just gonna like destroy us, but they're just kind of running things.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah, I'm kind of hooked now. All right.